was doing, man. We will start recording. Here we go.
LPFM 985.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? This is Lyne't with the Lyne't Gray Show. Today is Tuesday, June 26th of 2018. As y'all can tell, I'm beaming. Y'all listening to me on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and UAW on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Please like and share our pages. Our email up here is kuaw985@gmail.com. Our phone number is 816-599-6893, which I love callers. So I'm going to say it again, 816-599-6893. And our website is kuaw.org. Facebook, KUAW-LPFM985, and the TuneIn app at KUAW. I have some, I'm just beaming y'all because I'm a new mama. You know, y'all know I've been waiting. It seems like all my friends and had grandbabies, and I'm just now having them. So y'all know I'm beaming for the whole grandbaby thing. That's one of the reasons why I'm so excited and so happy. But I have some amazing news, y'all. I've been telling everybody, I'm gonna get a shirt, and it's gonna seem like I'm boasting and bragging. So I'm not trying to offend anyone. Excuse me. I was getting on her case. Excuse me. The school was getting on her case and telling her that she was supposed to apply to her senior year in high school. She was so nervous. I don't know why she doubted herself, but I was like, hey, did you finish that Harvard application? Did you finish that Columbia application? Did you finish? And I was on her about applying to Ivy Leagues. And I had forgotten one thing that my great grandmother had told me was, hi, Blair. If y'all see Blair Mason on there, that's my baby Straw Hat's mama. That's my daughter in love. She's not my daughter-in-law. She's my daughter in love. And she gave me beautiful baby Straw Hat. And I haven't been able to get over there and see her because I'm still studying for this test, Blair. I'm supposed to take the exam tomorrow. I had to push it back. But baby Straw Hat, I'm just beaming. She's so beautiful, y'all. I see why grandparents say they feel like their grandbabies are the best looking out of it, because she's absolutely gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, I had gotten on her about, and her senior year in high school, she graduated in 2011, and I was like writing her, you need to do this. And I had forgotten my great grandmother always said, not our timing, but God's timing. Needless to say, she called me, and I'm gonna just keep going on about this because I'm so excited. She called me and she said, Mama, I emailed the lady in admissions long time ago, and she's just now responding. And when she responded, the date she gave me is actually after the application close date. But she told me that I have till this date to go ahead and apply. And I said, okay, well, baby, what's the problem? She said, I need 3 letters of recommendation, and this is in less than 7 days. And I told her, I said, you got this, because I always teach my children to live their life. I always teach them that the way they live today dictates their tomorrow. And I always taught my children that you want to be good to your teachers, because your teachers and anyone you don't know who your angel is that you're entertaining. Y'all know I'm doing my regular invite thing, so don't think I'm not paying attention. 816-599-689. And so when she went to go tell me, she was like, but who am I going to get? And I started rattling off people. And she's like, oh, really? And I'm like, yes, baby, just call them. And one of them was actually a connection with me. The other three were her work, her hard work, which she had done. My son, they helped her. They helped look at her capstone, because she had her capstone, I think, down to 4 pages, but her capstone was in history. It wasn't in education. So both of them, especially George being a teacher, he looked at it from a teacher's perspective and told her what he feels that she should have taken out. Needless to say, she got the applications and everything in, and she just happened to be talking to me on the phone. And she went to go check her email while she's talking to me on the phone. And she goes, oh my God, mama. I said, what? She said, oh my God, mama. I said, what? I'm so used to getting bad news. I thought it was bad news. She said, I got in. I said, you what? She said, I got in. And y'all, I think I did the ugliest cry. I think I muted the phone because my baby been going through. And some of her going through was at my hands. It was at the hands of me being a mother that, as I've been very transparent with everybody, going through the situation with my marriage and all of that. And it was stressful on my kids with my divorce, my marriage and my divorce. That stuff was stressful on my kids. And so to see her achieve her dreams, I'm just so happy for her. And then I got my dream. I got baby Straw Hat. I still got baby General coming. Baby 4-star General is coming at the end of September. And so I finally get to be a mama. I'll get to be a grandma. And my daughter is calling me while I'm on air. Hold on, y'all. I'm about to put her on speakerphone. Because this child, last week, she texted me. Hey, Tink, I'm on the air. What's up? It's Tuesday, baby. You're on the air. I got you in the mic so everybody can hear. Okay. Love you. Every week. Last week she asked me did her packages come. I don't know how she's losing her days like this, but that is so funny. Y'all see how things go. But so at first I was going to talk about sports, which we're still going to talk about sports, because I neglected and ignored the LeBron versus Jordan, who's the GOAT conversation. And I know a lot of people are sick of it, but 816-599-6893, because I have a voice and I can say something on the radio. So, I'm a big sports fanatic. I'm a mom of 5 sons, and my sons love sports, all different kind of sports in their own right. Even if it is just wrestling, that's still a sport. But so one of the parents, and I did a live video, and then for some reason, after I did that live video the other night, it went to my page and then it never appeared again. So I don't know what was going on. And I can't find it. I've been looking for it on my page for the longest. Cannot find this video. Anyway, people were inboxing me and saying, what did you do? What is your secret? What did you do? And I've gotten probably like 15 to 20 inboxes asking me what I did and what is my secret to raising incredible kids. And here's the first thing. This is what I figured out, because I couldn't figure it out the other night, probably because I was half asleep and I was crying, and I was crying tears of joy, not tears of sadness. For once, praise God. All praises for all of this go to God. That's number one. Because I tell people I'm just a twomp side chick, born and raised, moved into the 30s, finished it off in the 50s. I'm, hey, I grew up in the gangbang and the crack era. I got a good enough diploma, which is a GED. So when my daughter graduated high school, when all my kids graduated high school, they automatically trumped me educationally. I did I began to think about it. And the first thing I did, this is what I tell people, I think the first thing I successfully did was in the hospital, and it was just natural to me to do. When I was in the hospital and all my children had been born and it was just us and we were just in the middle of the night, I held my children up to God, and I committed them back to God. And I thank God for giving me his children and for trusting me to raise his children, because I remember watching Lynn Bias's mother before I even had children. And I remember her saying after she lost her second son, she had already lost Lynn and then she lost her second son. I think he got shot or whatever. And she said, these were not my children. God gave me his children to raise. And so she said when she understood that and understood that God was calling his children back home, it eased the pain. Now, this was when I was a child. I watched her say that. But for some reason, it resonated to me as a child. And so I made it a point with each and every one of my 6, while I was in my hospital bed recovering from giving birth to them, in the middle of the night when it was quiet and still, I left the lights out and I opened up the windows and I got back in the bed and I stretched my baby out like he did Kizzy on Roots. And I said a prayer to God and I asked him to specifically show me how to raise and discipline, because I knew that discipline meant disciple. And when you disciple someone, you do what Jesus did, or you do what Muhammad did, or all the other Buddha. Even if you want to come closer, some of the people think that Gandhi was a messiah. When you disciple someone, you show them how you want them to live. You show them, you train them up. So that I will say, and that's why I say all praises go to God, because he showed me how to deal with each and every one of my children. He told me something, and I don't want people thinking I'm crazy or whatever, but he told me something with each child. He said, I'm going to allow you to see a portion of you. He said, I separated your personality into 6 different people, and I'm going to show you how easy or how difficult you are to deal with. And so in each of my children, and when it came time to raise each one of my children, God allowed me to see me in them. My daughter is the driven, the take no prisoners. You can tell me no, but I'm going to figure out a way to get it done. Yes. Or you can tell me that you can't do it, and I'm going to figure out a way to drive you to your success. And I'm not going to take no from you for an answer. So that's a part of me that the caring, the nurturing, the woman that says success. My oldest son, the general, my oldest son, and it was so funny. I'm gonna tell this story, but I was pregnant with my oldest son, and I was still rough around the edges, a little bit hood, and his dad and I don't want to say it was domestic violence. It was domestic violence, but it was the kind of domestic violence that I fought back. And he told me, he said, I can't be with a woman that can whoop my blank. And he said, you think you tough, one day somebody gonna hand you your hat. So God showed me through my oldest son, because this is a strong, big, muscular man that I'm going fisticuffs with, and I wasn't afraid. And God showed me through my oldest son the stubbornness of me, but also the toughness of me. He allowed me to see that I was a warrior in my own right, but how I needed to, I didn't hone it in the right direction. So he allowed me to mold his son. Okay. Able to lead, because a leader has to have a toughness about them. They have to have a take no prisoners attitude. And now the generals sit in an office and play chess, but back when generals were generals, and I'm not saying nothing negative about the ones we have, because my son's still in the military, I don't want to reprimand it, but back in the day, the kings and the generals led out. They were the first to go out and battle. When they changed the way things started doing, then the kings and the generals, but before, they had proven themselves up through the ranks and they were the toughest. My third child, my baby, I love him to death. He is my spiritual one. He is my one that He seeks all things esoteric and metaphysical. And he's the one who taught me how to love unconditionally. Because I will tell this, and I'm very ashamed of it, because I was very homophobic. Very homophobic. My best friend was gay, and I chewed her out when she first told me and said some really hurtful things. And she said, "You act like I want you." That was her exact words to me. "You act like I want you. I don't want you." But then I had to come to the conclusion that the same person who told me she was gay was the same person who was spending the night at my house, the same person who, when I needed to go to the doctor, when I was pregnant with my daughter, she was there for me. We whatever. And so it straightened that out. But it hurts me now to think about how I responded. Well, my third son is LGBT. He's gay. And by the time he came along, I was able to accept it. Now, my ex-husband, he wasn't. He couldn't accept it. He's a man. Most men can't. But I was able to accept it, and he showed a side of me. He showed me a side of him that was the kind that seeks spirituality. And God showed me some things on that I will talk about at a later show, because it's too deep to be explaining right now. So then my fourth son, and I tell people that is my twin. I was not very much into the zodiac stuff. I just look at everything. I'm not really that much into everything, but I tell people I used to celebrate my whole birthday for the whole month of November. And then he came in, he was supposed to be born on Halloween, but that's my fault, because I was saying, "God, I don't want no child born on Halloween." So God said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna make him 3 days late." So he came on November 3rd, cutting off my birthday, because my birthday is November 14th. And that is my child, who he and I are almost exactly alike in everything. And that's the one I tell everybody I want to pull out each dreadlock out of his head, follicle by follicle, and just burst out in laughing of joy at each one I pull out. And he just starts laughing when I tell him that. And I'm like, dude, but I see a lot of me in him, even to the point of build and things, athletic nature and things like that, super intelligence. He's the student of Mr. I keep calling him Mr. Gathers, Tyrone Gathers, who has the Inkwell show right before mine. Y'all need to watch that show. That show is about education. And if anybody's show on this station needs to be seen all the time by max numbers, the Inkwell that comes on 7 o'clock on Tuesdays is one that I think everyone should be watching. It's an amazing show. Anyway, he, God showed me all of me through him, because we're almost exactly alike. And then he gave me my fourth son, my fifth child, my Sebastian. Sebastian taught me that men don't have to be rough around the edges. I was the kind of mama, I'm like, "Stop all that crying. You always crying. You better not water up." I give you a reason to cry, with my Sebastian. Because I could be like, "Stop." And Sebastian would just water. And he's told me, like, "You let a tear drop and I'm going to give you a reason to cry." And he'll turn and go to the wall and try to wipe it clean. And I'm like, "Are you crying?" No. To not let people walk over him. Teach him how to be strong. Teach him how to have a voice. He made an incident where he was literally ran up out of his school because he was so soft-hearted that the kids made fun of him so bad that he was having suicide attempts. And I'm sitting here looking at my ex-husband, and we were married then. It wasn't suicide attempts. It was thoughts of suicide. And he's telling the people in the school he's going to kill himself because he couldn't deal with the kids. And my ex-husband was a fighter in elementary school. Everybody who knows me knows I was a fighter. And I'm like, how we raised this old soft son? I couldn't understand that. But God showed me everybody ain't got the spirit of a warrior. Everybody some people just want to live in love and peace. And they don't want to fight all the time. They don't want to have to fight through life. They just want to have love and peace. But he told me, he said, you have to prepare him to deal with people out here because everybody doesn't have that spirit. So what happened was, yes, we had to take him out of the school. But when I took him to another school, I said, I'm going to tell you like this. You don't have the covering of your brothers. you were at UA and your little brother was getting ready to beat up somebody in your grade, and your big brother get ready to go punk somebody in your grade behind you. But now you're on your own. You have to stand on your own 2 feet, Sebastian. I said, so mama's going to teach you one thing. When people talk crazy about you, I said, you point out I'm sorry, y'all. I hopefully I didn't turn my son into a bully, which I didn't. But I told him, I said, if they're going to say stuff to hurt your feelings, then you point out the obvious about them. And you start saying stuff, you're super intelligent. You can start cracking on people and had a whole class laughing at them once they try to get. I said, you let them get started. You don't start nothing, but you finish it. I said, and when you finish it, as mom used to say, the police better pull you off. I said, so they better put you out of class because you won't let it go. And so, but then I had to tell them, if you're going to start it, you got to have hands to match. So that's just mama. But because I was, when we pulled him out of class, he was so torn down, pulled him out of the school. He was so torn down that I knew my baby wasn't going to make it. If I'd have let him stay in that school another week, he was going to commit suicide. And I was like, beat people up, but he didn't have it in him to beat people up. My other kids, I tell them, somebody making fun of you, go whoop that blank. They'll go in there, tear them a new one, and we good. Ain't got no problems out of them. They could wind up best friends with that person. That person left him alone. But this one, he wasn't like that. He didn't have that edge to want to fight and defend himself like that. So what happened was when we took him, we put him in a new school, and he was like, Mama, they got ready to get started on it. He came home because I homeschooled him for the rest of that year. And then I went on ahead and put him in a new school. And he said, I said, how's school? He said, well, the kids on the bus got started on me. And he's sitting there eating his after school snack that I made him. He said, well, the kids in the bus got started on me, but I just started talking about what the houses look like. I was like, because you have to go to a bunch of the kids' houses to pick them up. And I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And I was telling him, evidently your parents are renters or something and can't afford a better house. So I was like, okay, Sebastian, so this is where I'm going to say this. If you're going to start talking about people mamas, you got to have the hands to match. So that was Sebastian. And now Sebastian, he took it and went overboard with it. And then he bought it back, as most kids do. And Sebastian is back to being his loving self. He's confident. He knows he's not alone in this world. He's the one who was like, ain't nobody checking for me. I'm like, dude. And we wound up passing up some homeless people who were together. I said, those are two unsheltered people. They don't have a place to live and they got somebody checking for them. Somebody's checking for you. You just need to go where those type of people that you like are. So, and then Aiden. Aiden is all of mama and all of his family combined. Aiden is my leader. That's my baby. That's the one who has taken all of mama's fearlessness. He is my thrill seeker. He, since the womb, wanted to be a NASCAR driver because that's all he ever, when he was little, and we would say, all the other kids, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to go into finance. I want to teach. I want to go to the military. I want to be an archaeologist. I want to do that. We said, Aiden, what do you want to do? He said, I want to drive cars. I said, what? He said, I want to drive cars. I said, you want to drive cars? He said, I want to race cars. So Aiden has always been my racer. And I knew this was the truth when I took him to start training him in go-karts. And by the time he was at his 3rd or 4th lesson, he's taking turns at 60 miles an hour. Yeah, that's my driver. That's my NASCAR driver. And he used to want to drive Indy cars, but his dad was like, no, you can't drive Indy cars because drive NASCAR. So I'm like, Dale Earnhardt died in a NASCAR, dude. I mean, but he's like, they're more safer. So he turned my son's head to more Indy cars. But his favorite series, even as a 13-year-old, is Cars. He loves Cars. Cars is, Lightning McQueen has pimped me out of so much money. I used to go to work just to give Lightning McQueen my check. But that is his passion. And as a mother, I tell people that's the first line of raising amazing kids is, we're going to go to break at 8:30. That's why I was checking the clock. Is recognizing yourself in your children. Number one thing that parents try to do, that I want all parents to listen to the sound of my voice. I don't care if you just got saved. I don't care if you've been saved for years. You need to remember at every age, at every step in your life, where you were at. And you need to remember that our children are our children. And so you need to make sure that you are not tearing them down for their decisions that they make. Because 9 times out of 10, their decisions are exactly like the decisions that you made at their age. With my daughter, when it came time for her to turn 17 years old, I ran her up to Planned Parenthood. And she's like, Mama, I'm not even doing anything yet. I said, you know what, baby? Mama wasn't either until after I turned 17. And then that's when you came. The first time I did something, so I got pregnant with you. We going to prevent that because I know you ain't ready for children. I wasn't ready, but I had made a choice that I was ready to be intimate with someone, but I didn't make a wise enough choice to know how to prevent children. So I made a choice to keep my daughter. But when I took her to Planned Parenthood, and y'all can talk about Planned Parenthood all you want to. Only reason why Planned Parenthood aborts kids is because the women walk into the abortion places to abort children. But they can't abort a child against a woman's will anymore. They used to, they can't do it anymore. So I walked her into Planned Parenthood because I knew that she was not going to want to go to a physician that she knew I had access to. So I showed her where she could go on her own and get the things that she needed to be safe, condoms, birth control, things of that nature. Now, I did talk to my children about sex and all of that stuff from the time they were very young. Why? Because that is the nature of man. And some of the stories I had heard about the ages that guys were starting to be intimate, it just it still terrifies me. Y'all. Jesus, I have 5 sons, and my sons are like, Mama, people are going to do it regardless. It's people's choice. I understand, but that's kind of young. But not them, but with the stories that I was hearing. But so I recognized each stage in my life where I was at, what I was doing, and I did things to. They say forewarned is forearmed. So I forewarned my children without saying, you going to do this, and it would making it seem like a big scary thing. So that's another thing, is I always remembered where I was at. And I always, and I will say, up until today of last year, my children thought I was Susie Homemaker Woman. But I never let them think that I was perfect. I never did. I never came down on them. I always knew that if I got saved, my kids didn't get saved. My kids were going to have to get saved on their own. So I never try to make them walk my salvation. The third thing is, I said, you got to give your kids back to God. You got to recognize yourself and your children. You have to hold yourself accountable for what, because they can't communicate it to us. So God still allows it to be fresh in minds. So we then have to pay attention to where they are putting their attention. We have to pay attention to the things that attract them. I tell people, sir, anybody who was around military, because when he was a baby, a former military person would put in clothes and walk up to him and touch him. He wouldn't cry. If you never been in the military and you got to reach out and touch him, he jumped like you then punched him in the gut or something and start screaming. And so he was a gauge. And I had an older person tell me, it was an older woman. She said, he's one of our long gone soldiers who's come back. I didn't believe in that stuff back then. But then I turned around and she made a believer out of me, because we began to start asking people, well, were you in the military? And they said, oh no, I got out this and the other. Okay. And he was a military gauge. So that let me know. And this is an infant that could tell me who was in the military, and I'm looking at them in plain clothes. So that right there, God woke me up, and he really woke me up with that and said, start paying attention to where your children's interests go, even as babies. So I'm hoping y'all are getting this, because I'm rattling it off the top of my head, because I just have to go down the line, because so many people hit up my inbox when I put up that my daughter made it to Ivy League, and I didn't realize how powerful that is. And then I thought about it. I was like, I'm the only parent I know with an Ivy League child, and that doesn't make my child anymore. My daughter, she like her mama. I tell people she is a sophisticated thug. Hopefully this Ivy League gonna take some of that thug out of my child. But I never look at myself or my children as better, and I always teach them to always be humble. You don't walk around with your nose in the air. And I never tell them, because at any point in time, God can take it from you. Because God ain't gonna take no blessings that he gives you. Let's get this first. You can lose them. You can lose them by your actions. But when God gives you a blessing, he is not going to take that blessing from you. What type of God gives? What type of God is an Indian giver? So we're going to get rid of all these old sayings that that have been plaguing the church and plaguing people's mind. But I do tell people, be aware of how you treat people, because the Bible says you could be entertaining angels unaware. And what happened when my daughter went to go apply to Ivy League, she realized that manifested itself because one of the Ivy League people who wrote her letter of recommendation, she had met at work. And they hit it off very well from the time they first met each other at work. Now, if my daughter had gone in there with her attitude, and my daughter has worked with a lot of us sisters who got attitudes like they didn't graduated from Oxford University and they got a $500,000 a year salary, or $1 million, $500,000 a quarter salary, $2 million a year salary, and walk around like we sit on the toilet and it comes out smelling like lavender. So I always taught my children to watch how you treat people. Don't ever get so high up that you cannot see people as your equal, because everybody is an equal. Everybody's just at different stages in life. So that's another thing. A lot of people will always say, "Oh, you have such amazing kids." That's because I taught them humbleness. But don't be so humble that you let people tear you down. Don't do that, because mama been there, done that one, and y'all ain't got to do it because I went through it. It is 8:30, so we're going to take a commercial break, and I will be back with you after this message. Hey y'all, thank y'all for watching, and I'm just gonna go through this. I was supposed to be talking about school, get to sports probably last 10 minutes of the radio show, but I want to say thank you for watching the Blair Care. I gotta get you on the show, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Galvin, Blair. My baby doll has mama. Hey sis, how you doing? I needed the clue on here. But her name is Cynthia. Hey sis, how you doing? Kara, hi Kara. Marcus Klein, how you doing? Thank you for watching. Lynn, hi Lynn. Hazeline, how is Hazeline? How you doing? George, my son. Hey George. Derek, the other half of Soul Revival. The other half is Baby Straw Hat's Daddy. Y'all got to check out their song Chocolate Love. Matter of fact, Mr. Walker, I'll probably do another break at 8:45 so we can play Chocolate Love for everybody here, and then I'll come back.
Good.
So that gives you time to find it. But Soul Revival, y'all have to look up Soul Revival. They have a single out with Church Boy, and it's called Chocolate Love, off the chain. My favorite one, and he said that it wasn't a whole song, was it's the intro to their Soul Revival album. I forgot the name of it now because I'm so busy talking, but we ready to go back in? But y'all gonna hear the song today. And we're back. Thank you for tuning in to the Lyne't Gray Show. I'm gonna finish calling off these people. Shakira, thank you for watching. Hey Gage, how you doing? Y'all gotta go to Gage Wilson's page and follow him. He says some of the most hilarious stuff. Hey Crystal, how you doing? Lance and Lexi Jones, Arthur Martin. Hi Arthur, love you. And B, my cousin B. Hey beautiful. My cousin Melicia's watching too. Hey Millie. But anyway, I was discussing what I did to make my children so successful. And I keep telling people it wasn't me, it was God. I followed what God told me to do with my children. So we did the giving them back to God. That's number one. That was in the bed. Then recognizing their gifts. And then remembering who you were at their age. And remembering and forewarned is forearmed. We have a caller. Hold on for a second.
Yes, you have Kara on line one.
Hi, Kara. How are you doing, hon? Good to hear from you.
Hi, Lyne't. How are you?
I am wonderful, girl. If you can't tell, I'm beaming. How's my babies?
Oh, they're doing great. Actually, that's why I'm calling, because I've been listening to your show all day.
Uh-huh.
Well, since you got on here. And you're absolutely right. You see yourself in your children. I see myself so much in my kids, and it really makes you realize, they're going through the things you went through, and you just got to speak life into these kids and realize that you were there too. And the
Yes.
things you felt then, they're feeling. And
Yes.
you're absolutely right in that.
Yes, you're absolutely. And I think if we can get the parents to understand that first, I think a lot of our parents have forgotten our struggle. We've gotten where we think to the end of the rainbow, but we forgot the storms that we went through to get there, or even not even the storms, but sometimes it's just light showers. We forgot the gray clouds and the things that, most babies learn not to touch something hot because they burn their fingers, or
Exactly.
they learn how to crawl downstairs gently because they've fallen down the stairs when they're so busy trying to climb up or climb down when nobody's looking. So,
Exactly.
we have to remember what we've been through and our lessons in life. I think God forewarns us so he can arm us to be able to do preemptive interventions or whatever with our children to keep our children on track. Because a lot of people say, you need to obey me. You need to do what I say. But people don't realize that our children are actually a real live movie set. Everything on the movie set, they are recording us for playback. So when they get older, they're going to play you back what you taught them, and what you taught them is by showing them. And this is the scripture I live on. I know everybody's not a Christian. I understand that. I'm going to tell y'all like this. If it wasn't for Jesus, I would have a gun to the back of y'all head running y'all pockets. So y'all gonna leave me alone about Jesus, because I was a real goon, for real, real thug, real goon. Jesus calmed that down. So we just gonna straighten that out right now. It's for all the people gonna come in my inbox and tell me I believe in this white man's religion. Come to my face and say it. And you just gotta promise you ain't gonna press charges when you come to my face and say it, because I'm like Peter, I'll cut your ear off. Anyway, but
that's close to the end of your segment when you were talking about, see the signs for their future and build that towards them.
Yes.
I got to tell you, my 13-year-old said he wants to be an electrical engineer, which more power to him, awesome. But I've noticed at the age of 1 or 2 that he's always had that fine motor skill of knowing this size will fit in here, or building and creating things out of things like that. And I never thought, I was like, okay, that's pretty smart for a 1-year-old. I had no idea that would play into his future.
Because
and
God,
so now, as he's talking about, this is what I want to do, and I'm like, okay. And now I'm looking back on it like, holy crap, he showed signs of that at the age of 2.
As he was growing up. Another thing I want to say, since you said that, get him into schematics. He wants to be in
taking a robotics class. He's taking all kinds of things.
Okay.
And he's looking into high schools around here.
Okay.
Because I'm not in Kansas City area.
Yeah, I know you're down in Florida. Yeah.
Towards, robotics or engineering.
Make sure that he
arts or whatever.
Electrical.
So we're looking into all those.
Right. Make sure that he knows schematics. It's called schematics. That was when I was doing engineering at Van Horn, when there was a engineering technology school. Kicked my behind, because I was like, and I look at schematics right now and I probably can figure it out, but it created a roadblock in my mind. But schematics are specifically for people who are going to be dealing with electrical and engineering portions of electrical and things like that. And you are such an amazing mom. I want to shout out Kara, because Kara is an amazing mom, and she's like me. She fights tooth and nail for her children to make sure they're okay and they're doing what they have to do. And she had her Jock Adam. Her second child is her, I call him Jock Adam. That my second oldest was my, I used to tell people, I'm like, this is what I get for naming my son Adam, because he gonna do his own will, like Adam of the Bible. But thank you so much for calling in. And like she said, y'all, we have to guide them in the direction. Like she said, she looks back and sees that he was doing things that automatically you would detect and say, yes, I can see that he wants to be an electrical engineer. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, Kara, just in case anyone else wants to call in. Love you more. The telephone number is 816-599-6893. If you want to call in. But like I said, I was forearming myself and forearming my children about things. I wasn't the kind, and parents get on my nerves with this one, where they tell the boys, don't you be bothered with these girls out here. You better leave these girls alone. And then they tell their daughters, you better leave these guys alone. And now you're mad because your kid gay. You told them to be gay. I'm sorry. Y'all need to stop. This is what I teach my kids, and this is what y'all can use. The reason why it says, and I don't know who believes this, but this is what I believe. I said the reason why the Bible tells you it's a sin to have sex, it's a sin to fornicate and to have sex before you're married, is because of the emotion that is involved in it. Because God knows that when you lay down with someone, you become one with them, and when you go to break up, so that is the reason why, our scriptures say stay pure up you're married, because when you get married, that's the person that you're supposed to um be with for the rest of your life. Unfortunately, it's not always the case, but save yourself the headache of wanting to snap somebody's head off their shoulders because you feel like they done played you, because you done gave them your all and all your emotion and stuff like that. That's what I teach my children. Like I said, another thing I do is when they start school, I look at their strong suits in school. I tell this story to everybody. My daughter said that she wanted to be a pediatrician. She had been saying that since elementary school, where my daughter got into middle school. And in middle school, my daughter was a straight A student. Here's the problem. My daughter was a straight A student. So I had to look at almost like the ACT scores. I had to break down each section. I saw that her math and her sciences were approximately 98% A's. Her math and her sciences were approximately 98% A's. This is my Ivy League student, y'all. That's, my only birth daughter. But anyway, her math and sciences were 98 and 99% A's. Her English was 100% A's. Social studies, no. English was 100%. Her gym was always a C or a D, but I would make her get doing what she's supposed to do, and she would bring that up to an A, because she was so nerdy that she really didn't care about athletics then. But when I paid attention, it was her 7th grade year that I went to parent teacher conference, and all the teachers were like, why are you here? I mean, really, why are you here? But I wanted more information on helping make my daughter successful. 816-599-6893. If y'all could please share this broadcast so people can tune in, and then also tell people if they missed a portion of it, they can press play and watch it again as soon as it uploads. I'm asking everyone to please like and share this broadcast. But I paid close attention to her grades in each and every subject. And what came about was she was maxing out all of her history courses. The teachers would tell me, not only does she have 100% in my class, she's got like 104% or 113%. And they're like, there's no more points to give. And then she'll go over my test after she's taken my test, and I give it back to her and I grade her, and it's got an A on it. Or maybe she missed one extra credit question, and she'll come back to me and say, no, because the way you worded this could be this or this. And they're sitting there like, this little girl just finagled me out of an extra half a point, but she's correct. I knew then, and I went back and told my daughter, I said, baby, I said, you're not like mama. You're not math and science based. What you are is you're history based. So you don't want to be a pediatrician, an MD. Yes, you love babies. But those are science heavy and math heavy majors. You want to be a PhD. You can be a history professor, or you can get your PhD. You can be a doctor because you have a 98 and 99%. Because I know me, and her 98 and 99%, if she's getting 113% in a class, her 98 and 99% is just, let me hurry up and do this right and get a good grade so my mom won't say nothing. But when you love something, you're going to go all out and get the absolute best grades you can possibly get. And so I knew that her heart was in history, which turned out excellent. She graduated on time with a bachelor's in history. She decided to take that history route exactly the way I said. You want to be a PhD. I didn't know that she couldn't get a PhD. Well, I don't know if you can get a PhD in history. I don't know. But she wanted to, do the education route with it. And that's what she stuck with. Another thing, parents, for successful children, if your children want to do something, start them early. My daughter has literally probably been teaching little kids since she was a freshman in high school. She's literally been a teacher. She started being compensated for her sophomore year. But I would tell her, and this is one thing from me working in HR. And I had an HR person who, we're going to play the song at the end of the show, Mr. Walker. Okay. But I had a person in HR who I came in and I was her HR clerk. Now I was just supposed to be filing papers. This woman was newly married. I was only 19. She was trying to have a baby. So what she did was, I came in accounting clerk, but she was in HR. She had me doing the accountant and the HR. And one thing she told me was, I want you to look for the equivalent experience before you look for the degree. Now things have flipped. This was back in 1995. And I was only, 19 years old, working and making great money, working in HR. But she said, I want you to look for the equivalent experience before you look for the degree. And the reason why I want you to look for equivalent experience, because we don't have to train these people. And so I learned that from doing her job while she was at home. Hopefully they did get pregnant with that baby, because that woman was never at work. She was working from home before working from home was popular, and we had the same name. So she had me doing all the interviewing and taking all her calls and all that. That was crazy. Anyway, so I teach my children, whatever you want to do, you have to make sure you get that experience. Like, I have a son who told me what he wants to do for a living. And I told him, I said, oh, you already a year into it with professional paid experience. A year into it. I said, so think about it. When you graduate from high school, you will have 4 years experience in what you want to do. So then all you have to do is go to college. And I make my children, when they tell me they want to do something, another thing I do when they tell me they want to do something is I make them go research on the, and Mr. Daryl Chamberlain, God bless him, St. James A-flat orchestra conductor, founder. He sent me the Occupational Outlook Handbook, and he didn't know that's where I live. I've been living in that thing for my kids basically since, I found out about it in like early 2003 or something like that. But I make my kids look up their occupation that they want to be in, and I make them get specific, because you can say, I want to be an accountant. Well, what type of accountant? You could say, I want to be, did y'all know that there's a step up right above nurse practitioner and right up under MD that is just as good as a doctor? Nobody knows that. Everybody goes to school to be a nurse practitioner or an MD. MD. Nobody knows about that one little sliver in there except for certain people, but it's in the Occupational Outlook Handbook. I made him look up what he wants to do. And I told him, I said, now I need you to look at all of the different organizations like that in the nation and look up the job description. And he found one that was actually hiring for that position. I said, okay, now that you found one that's actually hiring, write down everything that they said that is a requirement. And then write down everything that they said is they prefer. And this is how I do all of my children with everything that they want to do. I make them line up and tell me, okay, so now you know where you're going. We have created a roadmap for you. So you don't have to go over here and do this thinking that you're going to do this, or you don't have to listen to someone, because you now know your roadmap to where you want to go in life. And so I made him make his roadmap, and I made him write it down and put it on the refrigerator. First, he was going to put it on his bedroom door. And he said, I leave my bedroom door open all the time. I was like, put it on your mirror. He said, Mom, I don't look in the mirror. I said, yeah, you sure don't, because hair always just nappy. You always got some crust in your eyes or something. So I know you don't. But he said, but I do go in the refrigerator all the time. So he moved the stuff around on the refrigerator and he put it up there. And I told him, you have to read it every single day. I made 8, and I told him, I said, I'm not going to do this for you. You want to drive NASCAR. So you're going to find every step you need to take. You need to figure out what schools, how to get this recognition, how to get into the NASCAR diversity program. You know, I've reached out to NASCAR drivers, big name NASCAR drivers, through their DM and sent them pictures of my son and told him he wants to be in NASCAR. And they say the same thing. Some of our best car drivers have not been discovered because they're Black kids. And they told me, okay, you need to figure out a way to get him this and get him into NASCAR diversity. Well, I'm doing all of this and I can't figure out anything. And I was like, dude, you want to do it? You're going to figure it out. I made him do it. He sat down at the computer, pulled up the information that I've been looking for years. It didn't take him 10 minutes. Okay, Mama, here's the school. And this is what I need to do this. And this is what, and I'm like, wow, you know, but when you make your kids develop their own path, I push my children. I tell my children that they have no other choice but to be successful. That success is, I always tell them, you Lyne't's child, so you ain't got no other choice but to be successful, because we're going to be successful at something. Either you're going to be successful in the good right, or you're gonna be successful in a bad right. And you make me look bad, then I'm gonna have to clown you in front of everybody. That's just how mama is. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna support you to your dreams. I'm my kid's biggest cheerleader. University Academy, anyone who's ever been to a UA game and you heard this old loudmouth woman, that was me. But I'm my kids' biggest cheerleaders because I know what support is. And I tell people the story about going down to Texas in 2016. And I think I've told you all about going down to Texas in 2016 for the high school roundup or the high school championships. And to hear how loud those parents are, it let me know how their kids got to that level. But when you go to an inner city school or you go to a Kansas City or surrounding, or not even Kansas City, just any other inner city school, you go to a football game and you think you're watching golf because it's so quiet. And then you hear a burst of cheering, like at golf. Instead of it being from 1 minute to another, stands full, people screaming. Or you go to a volleyball game and they're playing to one parent and all their coaches and their teammates. If you want your children to be successful, you have to start supporting them from one. They have to be the most important. And I tell a lot of parents, this is what I tell moms whose children have graduated school. And please do not take this as a knock. But it makes me cringe to know y'all's kids have graduated school and then you're not pushing that child to their fullest potential. When they graduate, that's not the end of the thing. That's the beginning of life. Look at your child where they're at when they graduate. Look at them 2 years, 1 and 2 years after they graduate. That's what they're going to be doing when they're our age. Because you're training them to do exactly that. So if you have children who graduated high school and they're working fast food, you have children who graduated high school and they're not living to their fullest potential, there's a such thing called the union. I tell everybody this, I'm union, born, bred, and fed. My family, my Uncle Red, Melicia's daddy, he was a union roofer, raising an entire family back in the 80s, buying houses and brand new cars on union money. My uncles, my grandfather, everyone was union. Everyone, my aunties were union. The only one who wasn't union was my mom. And so I tell people the union is a way for our Black people who do not go to college to make that money. And they just put out a report that the railroad is begging people. Do y'all know how much money the railroad makes? They make money. We have UPS that needs people to come in. And you can start out in a package car in UPS and work your way up into the planes, $250,000 a year. UPS truck drivers, I'm not going to tell y'all business because y'all here in Kansas City, but we made good money, real good money. And so I'm telling y'all, we have, like Kara said, her son wants to be an electrical engineer. You have electricians, plumbers make $85+ an hour. Electricians make $60+ an hour. And when I say these are their starting salaries, these are not them, their packages, their benefits packages. So when it comes to our children, we as parents need to stop being complacent because they've graduated high school. College ain't for everybody, but good money is, because everybody wants a brand new car. Quaida, it's 816-599-6893. This child always texting and calling me on air, but this time she gonna call in. Call in, hurry up, Tank, because I'm about to run out of time. But we have to make sure. Oh, y'all, my Ivy League child is about to call in. Please call in if you're paying attention. Or maybe she just texted me and ain't listening. I don't know this child. Hold on. This Lord Jesus. This my Ivy League kid. You buy her books and send her to school. I ain't buy nothing. I'm lying. Oh, did I tell y'all she got all her college paid for? So that is what I push with my children, is because I always tell them, and this is what I say, and y'all can think I'm wrong. You want to go to college, you gonna get it paid for, because your degree has your name on it. It don't have mama's name on it. So if I got to sign for some loans on your stuff, it just ain't getting paid for. And I'm not gonna take my pay. I'm sorry, I know you're a teacher. You might be like, oh God, and I'm not gonna take a portion of my paycheck and have them deposit into a bank account to pay for your school. Because I don't watch kids, mess off their parents' money, because I went to college in my 30s and I don't watch them mess off their parents' money. So I'm not gonna do that. So like we're at 8:54, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it over. This child, y'all see how worrisome my daughter is? I only have one. And she's texting me while I'm on air instead of just calling in and asking her questions. Oh, Lord Jesus. Okay, that's her. Yeah, she just called in. That's her. Y'all see what I go through as a mama. That's my baby, but hey, Tink, you on the air? Okay. Hey, Tink, you on the air? Hey, this the subject people was asking me, how did what did I do to make y'all so amazing or whatever? And I'm not taking any credit. So this is my Ivy League baby, y'all, Miss Jaquita Ann Gray II. That's my baby. The story is just about, my subject. I gotta hurry. I got a minute left. So my subject is, I want you to tell people what you feel like I did to help you be successful.
I knew I always had support or to go where I needed to go, and even when I didn't reach my goal, he still supported me to reach them eventually. So I know that's definitely a big part. It's the support that you give us.
Oh, that's my baby. That's why I love my baby.
Are you crying?
No, but I'm gonna cry as soon as I get off the air. You already know. So, y'all, I'm gonna let my baby have the last words. And when we take the show out, you all will be listening to Chocolate Love.
Saturday, guys. So I accept all forms of gifts. And I'm gonna have fun in LA like tomorrow. So
And I will be hitting y'all up with her Cash App and things like that, because she's gonna need some extra help in New York, and we're gonna give her a great send off. I love you, Tink. You have a good night. I'm gonna call you when I get off from here. We will be going out with the song Chocolate Love with Soul Revival featuring Church Boy. God bless y'all. I love y'all. Please share and like this video. Bye-bye. How are you doing today?
Good, good. I sent that to, what is that, Gather's Group? Tyrone Gather's. No, not the Gather's Group, but what is that about?
Yahoo.
Yeah, thanks. All
right, I got it.
One of your emails. I don't know why the Gather's Group, but I know it comes up at home. I don't know where.